Let me tell you something. I love this team now. I got goosebumps, gentlemen. I love this team.
Well, Dan Campbell, I don't think you're alone in this. This video, I'm going to be breaking down why I think the Lions are everyone's favorite. Now, the nation just seems to love the Detroit Lions. And if you want evidence, just look at a Detroit Lions video, any video. Look at the highlights of their Packers game, the NFL's official video of them playing the Packers, and just look at the comments. You will see so many comments of people going, you know, I'm a Steelers fan, but I gotta tell you, I'm rooting for the Lions here. Like, they're exciting. I'm a Dolphins fan, but man, I really enjoy watching the Lions play. You'll see so many comments of people saying that. And that's why I don't think Dan Campbell's alone when he says, I love this effing team. I think a lot of people do. And I want to talk about why I think that is, why I think the Lions are a team that everyone just seems to enjoy watching. Everyone's entertained by them. Everyone loves just watching this team play. And you have people like Pat McAfee. You have a lot of media personalities now saying that they are on the Honolulu Blue bandwagon and they are not jumping off anytime soon. Now, this is completely new for Lions fans. We're not used to this kind of media coverage, just positive media coverage. We were lucky if the national media even talked about the Detroit Lions, but now they seem to be a team that is coming out of everyone's mouth. Everyone is talking about them. Everyone's excited about them. I'm excited about them. You're excited about them, I hope. And I just want to break down why I think that might be. First of all, I want to say that Hard Knocks, I think, had a huge hand in helping that reputation of the Detroit Lions. We got to see their heart, their grit. We got to see Dan Campbell up close and personal. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's just someone that you want to hear him tell you how proud he is of you. That's the kind of person that he is. He's doing up downs in practice. Here's Dan Campbell right here, and tell me how it's very hard not to love someone like this.
That's why I'm doing it, I swear, man. I don't want to put anybody in jeopardy, but we have to do it, man. I believe it. We're not going to do it every day. I'm going to give you an illustration tonight. Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man. That's all I think about is you guys and how I set you up for the best possible advantage I can give you to have a season. I swear to you, man. I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please. Listen. These people right here in this front row, they got these kind of almost look like a soccer ball or something on their blue t-shirts. These kids have cancer, man. They got cancer, man. I appreciate it. If some of you guys go over there and sign, just say hi. That'd be nice. You know, we're all fortunate here. We all know. Let's be better tomorrow. Let's be better tomorrow. Jamal Williams breaking up.
I mean, just a legend, right? So last season, the Detroit Lions started off 1-6. And of course, everyone's like, oh, here we go. Same old Lions. I was one of those people, unfortunately. But I'm really glad that Sheila decided to stick with Dan. They had that vision. And then when they played Green Bay in week 8, you started to see them turn that corner. The tide started to churn. And then they beat the Bears. So 2 division wins. And then they just took off from there. And their game against Jacksonville was just peak Detroit Lions dominance. And that's when you start seeing the comments in the comment section of those videos, those highlight videos of everyone going, man, this team's exciting. This team is fun to watch. They are dominating in all 3 factors of the game: special teams, defense, offense. They're just dominating, and they make it fun. It's entertaining. Even the heartbreaking losses that they've had against the Eagles and then the Bills at the Thanksgiving Day game, you still saw comments in the comment section. I'm an Eagles fan, but man, these Lions, they played with heart. Like, they were in it the whole time. They were not going away. Or even Bills fans were like, whew, man, these Lions, they are for real. Even though I'm a Bills fan and the Bills won, I gotta give respect to the Lions because they played with heart. They played with grit. They were competitive. They were just fun to watch. Or I'm an Eagles fan or I'm a Bills fan. But man, the Lions earned my respect this game. So after that 1-6 start, they finished the season 9-8. And that's when the hype started. that's when the hype started. And that's when we start seeing TV personalities talking about how excited they are for the Lions. And it's not a given that a team that finishes off that strong will continue to pick up where they left off. And so the Lions kind of had to prove it this season. So they go into Arrowhead, they beat the Chiefs, and that was an ugly game. On both teams played pretty ugly that game. But then they play Seattle, and they lose that game in overtime. That was a heartbreaking loss. I don't know what happened there, but that game went in overtime. Heartbreaking loss. But then they played the Falcons. That's when you saw the excitement. They sacked Ritter 7 times. The defense was all over the place. And then they played Green Bay at Lambeau Field. Completely dominate them. Thursday Night Football. Ratings were up 9% from last season. Oh, and by the way, when they played the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football in Week 1, the ratings were up 24% from last year. So that's just another indicator that, hey, people are tuning into the Lions. Now, of course, it's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and people, they're a lot of fun to watch. The ratings might have been high no matter who the Chiefs are playing, but that kind of is a good indicator of people are excited to watch the Lions. People were tuning in. They didn't think that the Chiefs were just going to roll over the Lions. They genuinely thought it was going to be a good game, and it was a good game, and the Lions won. Win-win. That just kind of shows that Thursday Night Football, even Amazon is more than happy right now with the Detroit Lions playing Thursday Night Football. And even last season, when they were 1-6, everyone thought the same old Lions. But it's one thing to watch a bad team. It's another thing to see a team get better before your eyes every single week. And that's what we saw last year with the Lions. And I think that really helped contribute to the hype around this team, is that we saw every week that this team was just getting better and better and better. And then week 18, they go into Lambeau and win that game. Despite not being in the playoffs themselves, they went in and they kept the Packers out of the playoffs. And Aaron Rodgers' last pass with the Packers was an interception. How beautiful is that? Another reason why I think people are gravitating towards the Detroit Lions is because it's a true underdog story. How long have the Lions been good? How long has it been for the Lions to look this good and be this exciting? It's been my entire life since I've been this excited to watch the Detroit Lions. And I think that Lions fans actually deserve to feel this way because it's just been so long. The people of Detroit have had to endure a lot, especially with the sports teams, especially with the Detroit Lions. All of the Detroit teams have just been playing horribly for a while now. And how good is it to have a team coming out of Detroit performing this well? I think in America, we like the underdog story. We want to see underdogs succeed, and that's what we're getting with the Detroit Lions. It's been decades since the Detroit Lions have made any kind of noise, have produced any kind of excitement, have produced any kind of just great football. So I think that's just another contributing factor. I think it's because it's a true American underdog story, and I think we really appreciate that in this country. We really want to see those underdogs obtain victory, to feel good about themselves, and I think that's what we're seeing here. They just play exciting football. Their offense is exciting, they're scoring points, they're doing trick plays. I mean, they threw a pass to Penei Sewell, like that's never been done before. They go for it on 4th down quite often. They get it. Sometimes they don't get it, and fine. But when they get it, it's just exciting, especially when it's on a trick play. Ben Johnson has just been a genius on the offensive side of the ball. He basically conditions defenses throughout the game. It's brilliant watching this guy be an offensive coordinator. And unfortunately, I think he's going to be gone next season. And don't forget about Aaron Glenn in that defense. He has them fired up. And their defense is exciting as well, with Aiden Hutchinson constantly putting pressure on that quarterback. They're getting interceptions, they're getting turnovers, they're getting to the quarterback, they're sacking the quarterback, they're making tackles for losses. It's just exciting football. How can you not get excited watching a team like this? They're fun to watch, and at the end of the day, that's what football is. It should be fun, and the Lions have proven to be an extremely fun team to watch. And I think that's why people are rooting for this team. That's one reason why. Another thing as well that I think is contributing to this hype around the Lions is their fans. I love the fans. I'm a fan myself, and I love the fact that they travel. When you see the crowd in Arrowhead peppered with Honolulu blue, we've never seen Arrowhead with the opposing colors that much. And then at Lambeau last week against the Packers, it looked like half that stadium were Lions fans. It was crazy. So I'd like to talk about Dan Campbell real quick. Now, everyone kind of joked about this guy, the biting the kneecaps in his initial press conference, but he's proven to be a leader of men. And he wears his heart on his sleeve. It's very, very hard not to love this guy, especially after watching Hard Knocks, seeing the passion, seeing the leadership, just seeing the love he has for his team. The guy's a legend. So I'm going to make a video about Dan Campbell and his leadership style and why I think he's one of the best leaders in football. So that video is coming soon, so stay tuned. So I've been saying, if the NFL is rigged, I'm not saying it is, but if it's rigged, I think that the NFL would be wise in putting the Lions into the Super Bowl. It's not really that far-fetched to say that games might be rigged a little bit. At the end of the day, the NFL, they are a business. Their bottom line is money. And every penalty, or a lot of the penalties, are really up to referee discretion. You might see a play where the defensive lineman taps the quarterback on the helmet with a pinky and gets flagged for roughing the passer. Meanwhile, another quarterback gets sandwiched between two defenders a good second after he throws the ball, and there's no penalty. Another example might be pass interference. We've seen so many times where it's blatant pass interference and nothing's called. A lot of these penalties and rules are referee discretion. It's not that far-fetched to think that the NFL might think, hey, we want these teams in the playoffs, because at the end of the day, this is a business. These seem to be the teams that everyone enjoys. We want to see them play in the postseason. Flag this team a little bit more and don't flag this team. And the Lions have always been on the receiving end of just the worst penalties that lose them games. It's always some obscure penalty as well that will lose them the game. And then the NFL will evaluate that rule and make changes after the fact. There should be a chapter in the NFL rule book titled The Detroit Lions, because this has happened so many times with the Calvin Johnson catch, that pass interference against the Cowboys. There's so many examples of the Lions losing games on really weird, obscure penalties, and then the NFL going in there and changing the rules later. So I'm really curious if we're going to start seeing that the tide shift a little bit on the Detroit Lions. And again, I'm not going to say that the NFL is rigged. That really just takes away from the achievements of the Lions. I want the Lions to get all of the credit for the success that they're having, and not just the NFL and the referees. But I'm just saying it's not far-fetched to think that referees can kind of churn the tides of games, and they do. And when your team is on the receiving end of a lot of bad calls and no calls that really go in their favor, it might be time to investigate that a little bit. And then you do have some teams that are always on the side of the favorable calls and never on the side of calls that hurt them. Cough, cough. The Patriots. Cough, cough. The Packers, even against the Lions. But again, I don't want to take away from the Lions' achievements and their success. So in closing, I just want to say that this team, it's very hard not to love this team. Especially after Hard Knocks, especially going from 1-6 to 9-8 last season, beating Green Bay in their home to keep them out of the playoffs, and then going into Arrowhead first week of this season, defeating the Chiefs, seeing their personality, seeing their toughness, seeing their grit, seeing their competitiveness. Dan Campbell is out there wearing his heart on his sleeve. It's just hard not to love this team, and I think that's why we're seeing so many people across the nation saying that they're rooting for this team. I hope it's true. It could just be my own bias. I don't know. So please leave a comment Do you love the Lions? Do you hate the Lions? Do you not care? I'd like to know your opinion. It just seems to me that people are really rooting for this team, and I really want to know. Alrighty. Go Lions. Cheers.
I'm just telling you. I'm just freaking telling you. Because I've been around as a player, I've been around as a coach in this league. We got, I'm telling you, the best owner. The best owner. It was always from day one, I thought it was important that our players got to know Sheila and understand what she's about and the way she views it. And this is something that's been in her family a long time. She thinks about you guys all the time, man. I'm serious, and she knows everything about you. She knows everything about you, but I'm telling you, she is rock solid. She's as good as they come. She's a good freaking person, and she's competitive. And boy, she loves win. So this is...
I was very surprised and honored, but I really think, the game ball was about the vision that we all have bought into in the beginning about the culture of this organization, where we wanted to go with it, what kind of team we wanted to build, and the fact that it was all coming together, and that Green Bay game was kind of a culmination of all of it. All roads lead to Detroit. Thank you. You guys are the best, and so proud. And did you see how many fans we had here today?
Oh my God.
It was amazing.
Yeah.